what made you write this book? Because the way you describe it, you were going through this difficult pregnancy. It was more challenging than your first one. You were doing a movie with Amir Khan. You were shifting house as well, and there was a pandemic. And on top of all of that, you decided to write this book.
Actually, Chicky just sent me a random message one afternoon that, hi Kareena, and what are your thoughts on, documenting your pregnancies? And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, maybe writing a book on your babies and the entire pregnancy journey. And I was like, okay, let me think about it. And I think actually in 20-30 minutes, I replied to her and I said that I think it's a brilliant idea. But the only thing is that I'm actually going to be supremely honest. And I'm actually, is it okay that we'll touch upon every possible topic? And how are we going to make this a one-of-a-kind book, a pregnancy book that can, not just be about my pregnancies, but can help other mothers as well, when they pick up the book. I want this book to actually, I told her, I want this book actually to be a book for all the mothers' bookshelves, but not just for today and not for just the time that they're pregnant. I think the fact that, their children, their daughters, their granddaughters, that's the kind of book that I'm looking at. So will we be able to achieve it? And I think the conversation started from there.
And yes, so you get, your team of doctors also, they've all written in the book and, they've got their notes, etc. And all the information is from your doctors. But you've been very honest in the book. You've shared so much, which is, you've been so candid, which is really great, I think, for women to read about, your issues with breastfeeding, for example, how the milk didn't come, it took you 2 weeks, and, describing how your mother and nurse were standing on either side of you, and, the insecurities on that front, getting a C-section, which again is something, my friends have gone through. So you've been very, very candid in the book.
The whole idea is that there is obviously this thing that, when a mainstream actor is talking about, her personal life, her, her pregnancies, her weight, there's this general perception that that nothing is going to be spoken about. Nothing is going to be honest. I think this book actually is, it has everything. I've given it my all. I've given it, there's no holds bar. There's, like I said, we've touched upon topics that probably, pregnant ladies would be kind of shy, afraid, or, they feel like it's not okay to talk about such things, whether it's, like you said, like not getting enough milk post-delivery, your breasts feeling like kind of, they feel the way they feel, your body kind of challenging you, your mental state kind of, being actually slightly delirious because, you don't get enough sleep. There's a lot of things that we've spoken about through my eyes and what I went through, and which I know that most mothers sometimes want to hear, want to talk about. So
right, and you write in the book about how, you weren't alone in your, the challenges that you were having with breastfeeding. And, and I think that's something that's going to help a lot of women also realize that, they're not alone, because, you see these beautiful posters of a mother and child, and it looks like the most natural thing and the most easy thing, but it is very challenging for many women. About weight gain as well, you've written in your book about, your nutritious diet, but also binging on pepperoni pizzas. And you've been very honest throughout your pregnancy on Instagram. You've been sharing pictures. You modeled as well with your, baby bump. But in the book also you write about, your vulnerable moments when you look at yourself in the mirror one day and suddenly you see all the issues post-pregnancy, and I think all women do that. And so that too has been a very honest thing that you've talked about, and sharing your weight gain at the same time talking about insecurities.
But because I think that these are things that actually we should even be like discussing it. These are things that actually they actually happen. They feelings and insecurities are things that what probably every mother has to go through in the 9 months. This pregnancy particularly was very, very challenging for me in terms of, mentally and physically, because I got pregnant 2 months after the lockdown. We didn't even know what COVID actually is, and we were living in COVID times. There was a constant, fear, obviously, living in that fear that, am I going to get COVID? Is my baby going to get COVID? How do I protect my baby? How do I still, live a little, live my life? There were so many things going on in your mind. So that is why this Jay's pregnancy was very different to Taimur's, which has been written in the book. And actually talking about it to Aditi, who's also co-authored the book with me, I think that has been actually, sometimes after delivery, reliving that moment and those fears and insecurities. I mean, till today, it kind of, it shakes me up. Because nobody really thought, I never thought that I would be pregnant in COVID.
Right, and when you're pregnant,
we're actually living here in COVID times right now.